Hello, welcome to Kids Mat Chat at AK Martial Arts and Fitness. I'm your host, Sean.
And I'm your co-host, Finn.
We are here today to talk with Dr. Ghosh about his career.
Good morning, guys.
What books have you written during your career?
Well, I've written lots of different things. I've written a cookbook that we talked about, a little bit about cancer and nutrition. And I've written a lot of articles about cancer, so about women's cancer. I take care of women with cancer. So I've talked about cancer and nutrition. I've talked about radiation and treatment and lots of things. There are a lot of medical textbooks and a lot of things like that. And then my cookbook. Those are the things that I've written.
How long does it take to make your books?
This book that I wrote, the cancer cookbook, took about 2 years. So it took a while to get that book written. It took a lot of people together to put that book together. About 100 people to put the book together. And it took people who were experts in a lot of different areas. It took people who were experts at nutrition and cooking. It took people who were experts at photography and taking pictures. It took experts at people who knew how to talk and promote the book. So it took a whole group of different people from all over the country to do it. They did the book in Minnesota and in New York. So it took different places, different people, and it took about 2 years to answer your question to put the book together.
Which TV shows have you been in?
So I've done a lot of local news and radio. So I've done a lot of local news here in San Diego, ABC and CBS and all those news shows here. I've done the show Doctors. I've done the shows when I was in Boston and when I was in New York. I did a lot of the local, and that's fairly significant radio and TV there. I've done Oprah. I've done Good Morning America. So I've done a lot of TV shows and mostly talking about the cookbook, but some TV shows I've done talking about cancer and cancer awareness so that women understand having cancer and what they need to do to look for if they have signs for cancer.
How hard is it?
To write the book? Or
yeah.
So the book was really easy to write because I had a lot of help. So I had a lot of help from people. So the recipes, there's about 10 recipes that are mine, and really 140 of the recipes are recipes from patients who have tried things. And the recipes that are mine are recipes that my mom taught me or I learned how to cook years ago. But a lot of those recipes are recipes from patients who have been sick, who have been nauseated, who have had problems going to the bathroom, and they needed to eat something. And it was really hard to have them do things, but they contributed a lot to the book. So the book wasn't that difficult to do that. The hardest part of the book was probably trying to convince them that we should do the book. And the reason for that is they'd never done a cookbook like that before. So doing this kind of cookbook for them was a brand new experience for Betty Crocker. So that part of it was probably the toughest part of doing the book. But the actual putting the book together wasn't that hard. And again, there was about 100 people doing it. So it was a huge team of people to put that together. So a lot of that responsibility didn't fall on me, which was good because there's no way I could have done all that stuff.
How did you find out that food helps fight cancer?
Well, that's a good question. So since 1980, people have done lots of studies and experiments looking at people and how they've eaten and what kind of cancers they get. So, for example, here in the United States, we don't get stomach cancer very often. However, in Japan, a lot of people get stomach cancer. And why is that? Well, they eat different things than we do. You guys have heard of sushi, obviously, right? So people in Japan eat a lot of sushi. And in sushi that they eat, not the sushi we eat, but the sushi that they eat, there's a lot of toxins and things that are not good for you that cause them to get sick and get stomach cancer. So we've learned over time that certain foods and certain things that we do can cause different kinds of cancers. And that's why that was the first step in figuring that out. And now we know that people who eat a lot of vegetables are going to have less chances of having cancer, less red meat, so less, even though steak is good and it's okay to have it once in a while, not eating steak every day is probably a good idea because it can cause certain kinds of cancers. And then we know that fruits and vegetables are important, and we know that when you cook your food that you should not burn it overall and do that, because if you don't do that, then it decreases your risk for cancer too. So those are some of the things that we've learned over the last, almost now 40 years to learn what can decrease the risk of cancer and what sort of foods we eat.
You kind of answered our next question, which was how does it fight cancer?
So what is cancer? Cancer is when the cells in your body start to grow and just keep growing and growing and growing. And so some of these foods have things in them that fight cancer. So that's why these healthy foods that we talked about, the vegetables and the things, are important because they've decreased your risk of getting cancer and they fight all those bad things in your body that cause cancer. So that's how nutrition and things are helpful in preventing cause cancer.
Well, thank you for being here with us, and
Thank you for having me.
thank you for joining us at Kids Mat Chat at AK Martial Arts and Fitness.